الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله كما ينبغي لجلاله وكماله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله ورضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن أصحابه وأحبابه أما بعد فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I would like to thank everybody first of all for your invitation. I am honored to be amongst ulama and students of ilm, which of course is challenging in one sense, and therefore I would first beg of you to forgive my shortcomings and to give me advice for my mistakes. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. The ayat are known to all of you, and because like the honorable brother mentioned, ulama and students of knowledge, and I am the weakest amongst you, so I figured I don't have to say things directly. You can extract them and do a second step reasoning, because the brothers told me about topic is supposed to be da'wah. So I will try to go through this ayah, because I personally believe that these few ayats in the beginning of Surah Rahman contain everything a da'iyah to Allah, a caller to Allah needs. And for those of you who have known me, I always maintain that Al-Quran al-Azim always speaks in simple language, yet has very profound meanings to this language. So I depend on your analytical reasoning to extract the meanings of what the characters of da'wah is and what the characteristics of the da'iyah, the one who holds the da'wah to Allah, is from these things. First of all, this ayah or this surah, Surah Al-Rahman, some mufassirin, they give it a nickname. The nickname of this surah is Arusul Quran, the bride of Quran. Arus al-Quran al-Kareem. And subhanallah, this surah has, of course, the surah is Makkiyah, it was revealed in Mecca, al-Mukarramah sharafaha Allah. And the surah has special effects, just like the entire Quran has special effects. But let me just shed light on what I mean by Makkiyah. Makkiyah means revealed in Mecca, but is that it? We take it sometimes now like this. No. As-Surah al-Makkiyah in general, especially in the beginning phase of the Makki revelation, Al-Quran was a secret in a sense. Al-Quran was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ. Of course, also the second deal we make, I always make that with everywhere I go. When you hear the name of the Prophet ﷺ, I expect you to say it loudly so you can remind me when I forget. Sometimes I forget to say sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. So inshallah you remind me with that loudly. Na'am, barakallahu feekum. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. When Al-Quran used to be revealed in Mecca in the Makki period, especially the early Makki period, Al-Quran used to be revealed in closed doors. What does that mean? Jibreel alayhi salam comes to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. And he says, and he gives him the Quran, and Nabi al-A'zam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he takes this and to the Sahaba, how many? Few Sahaba radwanullahi alayhim. And he takes them, they close the doors, and they even when they learn the Quran and recite it, subdued, so no one outside hears them reciting the book of Allah. Because, again, I'm saying all these things, I depend on your extraction, because often people say, this is hardship and all these things, and we have no flashbacks. Close the door, close the windows, so we can recite the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because if Quraysh had heard people reciting the Quran, then your end is known. Usually punishment until almost death. Oftentimes, as you know, Sumayya, Al Yasir, death. Why? Because you believe in La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Like, the only people that could escape death or severe punishment were the people who were backed up by big tribes. And if you have a big tribe behind you, and you became Muslim, then it's very difficult. Sayyidina Uthman al-Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu Ardad al-Nurayn, for example, it was difficult for them to persecute him as much. The Umayyah were a big tribe, powerful people. It's difficult for Quraysh to simply take revenge from him for becoming Muslim. But as you all know, the beginning, your brothers and sisters, the beginning of the Dawah of Islam, who believed in the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? The weak, the slaves, the servants, the people who didn't have any backup. Therefore, they could not really say it out loud, otherwise they would be persecuted. Right. Some of them Mufassirin say when Al-Wahidi and others, Imam Suyuti rahmatullah alayhima, they say when this surah was revealed, Rahman, some group of Sahaba, the early believers of the Ummah alayhim ajma'in, they said, Ya Rasulullah, or they talked to themselves, why don't we, Quraysh did not really hear the Quran. They have not heard the Quran. Al-Quran is beautiful. Al-Quran guides simply by recitation. Tarawa, wa halawa, sweetness, etc. All these things that Allah talks about Al-Quran al-Kareem, so much that Amr bin Qais, another one of these people who used to be really afdad, I say in the Arabic language, among the people who are eloquent, highly cultured personality, Shakhsiyya, Quraysh, they came to him and they gave him this surah, Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaqa al-Insan, Allamahu al-Bayan. He said, stop. These words cannot be said by a bashar. There is no way. These must be the speech, or this is the kalam of the Khaliq of the bashar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Effect. And now, some of the Sahaba said, why don't we take this Quran that's revealed Surah Al-Rahman and go and tell Quraysh about it? Okay, sounds like a good idea. Maybe some of them can be guided. But who's going to take this job? Who's going to go and stand in front of the cannon? Because Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Ridwanullahi alayh, هذا الصحابي العظيم. Truly. Sometimes you mention الصحابة كلهم رضي الله عنهم أجمعين. They're all great people. They're all kiram. But you have people from the beginning like Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Khabbab, Abu Bakr. These people, something, really something. The material, the raw material of these people is not, it seems like it's not similar to the rest of the creation. No wonder. Why? Because they are the students of a school. The school has written on its door, Muhammadun Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So don't be amazed. The New Testament now, whether they attribute the New Testament, they say you know them by their fruits. Well, you're right. We know them by their fruits. So we look at Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Ridwanullahi alayh. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud stood up. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, there's no tribe behind you. There's nobody that supports you. They get you. There is no, group with people who stand for you. He said, I will go and say, what do you mean sit down? No, I will go. He went. Between As-Safa wal-Marwa, he stood and he said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaqa al-Insan. Before he continued, Quraysh came and they start hitting him until almost beating him dead. To show you the da'wah to those who hold the da'wah is very valuable. And if you prioritize it, then nothing else matters. عظم الخالق في أعينهم في أنفسهم عفوا فصغر ما دون ذلك في أعينهم. Al-Khaliq became so great, is so great in themselves, so anything else other than Allah is insignificant. Doesn't matter. And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, I don't want to take too much time, but Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Nabi A'zam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave him a medal, Wisam. This medal, hadith you all know, the hadith is authentic, sahih. خذوا القرآن غضا طريا عن ابن أم مسعود. If you want to learn the Quran, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gives you direction. The Quran comes to him. But he himself gives you direction. If you want to learn Al-Quran, fresh, newly revealed, then go to Ibn Mas'ud and learn from him. This is the medal of honor that An-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam conferred on Abdullah bin Mas'ud al-Quran. So much that Sayyidina Abdullah bin Mas'ud was the ally of the Quran. The Quran is always with him. Everywhere he goes. And if there's an incident, it's okay, I think off topic. No? I'll go off topic for a couple of minutes. Is it okay? Fine. One time Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu, he calls him in his khilafah, summoned him, Ta'ali Abdullah bin Mas'ud, he came. He said, here is your share. Sayyidina Uthman used to be, as you know, at the time, the state, the Muslim land at that time was big, a lot of money was coming. He said, here is your money, here is your share, I'm giving all the Sahaba, this is your share, Abdullah Mas'ud. Sayyidina Abdullah Mas'ud was among the poor of the poorest. Or if I may say, the poorest of the poorest. Poor Sahabi Ridwanullahi alayhi. He looked at Sayyidina Uthman and said, I have no need for that money. What do you mean you don't have any need? You're barely surviving. You barely have something to eat. He says, no, thank you. Give it to someone else who needs it. He says, Ya Ibn Mas'ud, take this money and give it to your children then. Okay. You don't want it, fine. Take it and give it to your children. He said, no, they don't need it. He said, why? He told him, because I taught them Surah Al-Waqi'ah. But going back to the topic. Ar-Rahman. Among the unique names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, all the names of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu are unique. But sometimes al-makhluq shares al-ism dun al-musamma. Yani you share the name, but you don't share what the name entails. For example, Inna khalaqna al-insana min nutfatin amshaj. Nabtali, the ayah, as you all know, all the way, فَجَعَلْنَاهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا. We have made them Sami' Basir. Allah describes the human being, that He made the human being Sami' and Basir, attributed him with hearing and sight. Sahih. Then He talks about Himself, Jalla Jalaluhu. And He says, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. Nothing is like Him, and He is the one attributed with hearing and sight. So He attributes Sami' Basir to the human being, and He attributes Sami' Basir to Himself. As you all know from a Usuli point of view now, that the name may be the same, but the meaning is entirely different. Sifatullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, qadimatun azaliyah, etc. All these things, eternal, everlasting, not subject to change, not created, not similar to the creation, versus the sama' and the basar of the human being is created, etc., etc. The point here, we don't want to go into aqidah point of view here, the point here is sometimes some of the asma of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just the name merely, could be shared in a sense, in that sense, not in actuality really. الاتحاد الاسم دون المسمى, as some of the ulama usul mentioned. طيب. What does that mean? More examples. Someone, for example, is very generous. Insan, human being, very generous. Extremely generous. What do you call him? Kareem. But who is Al-Kareem? Allah Rabbul Alameen. Allah is Kareem. Allah is Al-Kareem. And this person is Kareem. The name maybe sounds similar here, but there is absolutely no relation in the sense, because one is Khaliq, one is Makhluq. Someone who has patience, sabr. Lots of patience, what do you call him? He's very patient. Sabur. But who is a sabur? Allah Jalla Jalla. Someone who is merciful, always merciful. Anything happens, you see him merciful. Yani with his children, with his family, with his wife, with his friends, with his community, with the people. You say he has rahmah, he's rahim. But you don't say he's Rahman. Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran. This is on the names you don't share. There is no one can be Rahman but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because this is the Rahmah now. Wasi'at kulla shay. The Rahmah of Allah that encompassed everything. And nothing is attributed with that but Allahu Jalla Jalaluhu. You don't say he is Rahman. No. Ar-Rahman is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do we say that? What does that mean? Okay, merciful, okay. Sometimes we think that al-insan yuthab bi'amali. For example, you do something, you do your prayer, and Allah gives you an ajr, reward for your prayer. That's many people say, okay, I'm doing fajr, Allah is going to give me a reward for fajr. Do dhuhr, another reward for dhuhr. When I you do Siyam, reward for Siyam. Hajj, reward for Hajj, great. Let me ask you, who benefits from your Salah? Allah? Do you benefit Allah from your Salah? Do you benefit Allah from your Siyam? Does Allah benefit from your Qiyam? Does Allah benefit from your Hajj? Does Allah benefit from your Ibadah? Let me make it furthermore. Is Allah in need of your Salah and Siyam and Hajj and Zakah? Well, you say, As-Salah helps you. As-Salah benefits you. Al-Hajj benefits you. As-Salah raises you, makes you a human being that has sensitivities and connection to the Creator. You stand in front of Him, Jalla Jalaluhu, every day. As-Salah makes you a better human being, perfects you as a human being. As-Salah is for you. You are the one who is actually doing this for your own benefit and your own interest. Yet Allah gives you reward for doing something for your own benefit and your own interest. You see how Allah is Rahman? Now, Ibn Ata'Allah, rahmatullahi alayh, he mentions in among his hikam, إذا أراد إظهار نعمته عليك, if he wants to show his ni'mah on you, خلق ونسب إليك, he would create something and he would attribute it to you. But he created this for you. He allowed you to have this ajr. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need your salah. He is not in need. He doesn't benefit from you. But he makes you, he facilitates for you to do the salah. Then he rewards you for doing the salah. Subhanallah. That's why, because he is a Rahman. That's the rahmah of Allah. That's the Rahman. And now you understand what does it mean to be a Rahman, the mercy of Allah subhanahu. Different from the creation. How so? Yeah, the creation could have mercy. Insan, human being, very merciful. You ask him, why are you merciful? Well, I fear Allah. I am merciful about these slaves because I fear Allah. Allah ordered me to be merciful. Right? What is there? There is a benefit behind this. What is the benefit? Benefit ukhrawiyya. Benefit for the akhirah, fine, but it's a benefit. I am merciful because I fear the punishment of Allah. Great. Also, you are fearing. There's something in return. No. I am merciful because I like to look merciful in front of people. All these things, they have what? They have a payback. You do them because either you want the pleasure of Allah, or you want to gain rewards from Allah, you want to go to Jannah from Allah, or you do them because you don't want to go to Jahannam or the punishment, or you do them because you like to look like that in front of people. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful upon all of us, and He doesn't take anything back from us. Yet He rewards us for everything we do. And therefore, among the characteristics, we're talking about da'wah, huh? I hope you're connecting the dots. Because among the things in da'wah, and the one who makes da'wah to Allah is ar-rahmah. That you have mercy. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, hadith sahih, marwaj sahih, man la yarham, la yurham. Ar-rahimuna yarhamhum ar-rahman. Both of them are authentic hadith. If you want to have mercy, you have to be merciful. Huh? If you want to have the pleasure of Allah, then you have to do these things. Otherwise, then if you're not merciful, Allah will not be merciful upon you. Don't expect to have mercy of Allah if you're not merciful on the slaves of Allah, on the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fine. Let's move on a little bit to what do I mean by this Ar-Rahman here? Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran. And why is mercy important for the da'wah and the da'iyah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because this is what the Anbiya are. The Anbiya were filled with mercy. Have you ever seen a story of a Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, from Adam alayhi salam to Nabiyina sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, that Allah sent them with nuclear weapons? Where is the nuclear weapon? If anyone doesn't believe in you, just push the button and wipe them out. Have you seen any prophet was sent with weapons of mass destruction? No, we don't see that. But we see in fact that all the Anbiya alayhimus salam were sent with weapons of mass construction. Not destruction. Because Al-Anbiya were sent with the power of logic, not the logic of power. There's a difference. And therefore, they did their message with mercy. Now when you compare with our situation nowadays, people are devoid of mercy. There's no mercy in them. You are with him 20 years, you do one thing wrong, well, you became Iblis now, all of a sudden, what happened? Why do we demonize each other? Because of the lack of mercy. Notice what the Quran talks about the Prophets عليهم السلام. فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي فَإِنَّهُ مِنِّي وَمَنْ عَصَانِي فَإِنَّكَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Whoever follows me, oh Allah, whoever follows me from these people, then he's from me. And who doesn't follow me, then oh Allah, إِنَّكَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. I didn't إِنَّكَ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ, oh Allah, kill them all. Wait. Al-Anbiya alayhimu salam, you see them walking example of mercy to those who believed in them and to those who did not believe in them. That's the whole essence of the message. And that's why Al-Habibullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, إِنَّمَا أَنَا رَحْمَةٌ مُهْدَى. I am a gift of mercy. Look at this. And therefore Al-Quran Al-Azim reinforces this meaning by saying, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ للمؤمنين للبشر للعالمين. For the universes, يعني الشجر والحجر, the trees and the stones and the animals and the birds and the rivers and the oceans and the skies and the earth were all receiving the mercy by the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is Muhammadun Rasulullah. He goes to Al-Ta'if and they throw him with stones. And he turns around, he makes dua against them or for them. Allahumma ahdi qawmi fa innahum la ya'lamun. Oh Allah, guide my people, they don't know. Among the most important things, dear brothers and sisters, is in da'wah is to have that mercy, to carry the mercy of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because if you're devoid of mercy, then there's lots of good that you're missing out. Intolerance and narrow-mindedness and becoming judgmental over everybody's intentions and hearts. That's not the way of the da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No. Those who follow me, then they are from me. And those who don't, Allahumma innaka ghafurun rahim, fa innaka ghafurun rahim. Wa man asani fa innaka ghafurun rahim. By making dua for them all the time, not making dua against them all the time, not demonizing them all the time. You know why we want to demonize? Some people want to demonize people. Because this way they strip them from every right they have, and it justifies their aggression on their rights. So now you can do ghiba and namima, etc., because they're anyway deviated, they're fusaq. They don't believe like me. Every time, that sectarian sort of mentality, then you narrow the thing a little bit, you narrow it, and then only 3-4 people will go to Jannah, the rest will go to Jannah because they don't like them. Again, I'm not saying people do that, but Ahlul Sunnah specifically, rahimahumullah radi anhum, are known to be the people of moderation, which means the carriers of the mercy of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That takes us to another thing, of course, from the rahmah. Why? Because al-ulama warathatul anbiya. Hadith rawah al-Tirmidhi hasanu wa rawahu al-Hakim and others. Al-ulama warathatul anbiya, it means they are the inheritors of the prophets. And since the prophets are attributed with mercy, those who carry the message of the prophets must be attributed with mercy as well. In order for them to do the official message, ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة. But that mercy now must be accompanied with something else. Because mercy by itself must be with something else. Humbleness, tawadhu'. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, wa ibadur Rahman. عباد الرحمن يمشون على الأرض خطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. يمشون على الأرض هونا, they walk on earth in peace. In peace means what? Are they merciful? Yes, if you walk in peace, usually you're a merciful person. But what else? They have humbleness. Why? Because the one who carries the ilm and the knowledge and the message of the Prophet ﷺ can never be arrogant. The poet says, ملأ السنابل تنحني بتواضع والفارغات رؤوسهن شوامخ. The husk, if it's filled with grain, if you see a husk, many of you are farmers, right? Maybe I am, okay, consider me a farmer. Those of you who are farmers, you know, when the husk is filled with grain, before you try to get it, what happens to the husk? It bows down because it's filled. But when the husk is empty, what happens to the husk? See me, I'm here. The people of arrogance always want to be shown and known. But the people of humbleness and humility, they're walking on ease. In ease. يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا. They're not worried about name and fame. Because they're not doing their job for name and fame. But they're doing their job for Allah Rabbul Alameen. Combine. Please combine these things. Fine. Moving on fast to علم القرآن الرحمن علم القرآن القرآن. He taught the Quran so you can learn Quran. Number one tool for the da'iyah, for the da'wah is Al-Quran Al-Azim. Because Al-Quran Al-Azim has the answers for everything. I'm not saying every single detail, but it's got the mother of everything in there. And this is the khair of the dunya and the akhirah. And the people of Quran, as you all know, are known. علم القرآن so you can learn Al-Quran. So you did dedicate time to learn Al-Quran Al-Azim. So we can interact with Al-Quran. Not simply memorize the words of the Quran. So what's the difference then? Interact with it. Feel the Quran. Feel the environments, the atmosphere of revelation upon us. So you can then gain that iman. That imani charge from Al-Quran Al-Karim. Ar-Rahman allama Al-Quran. But look what happened to the ayah. وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. Those ibad of Allah who walk in ease on earth, when the ignorance talk to them, they say what? Salama. That's the answer. Salama, peace. Peace. Why is that? Why would ignorance have to talk to them? Why does Al-Quran tell them, when you walk on ease like that on earth, as if the Quran is saying, ignorance will talk to you. And ignorance will try to stop you. And ignorance will label you. And ignorance will give you titles and names and will accuse you of things erroneously, etc., etc., etc. And you will have hardships and you will have difficulties and you will have to face all these things. Therefore, when they tell you all these things, what do you tell them? Salama. Surah Luqman, أقم الصلاة والزكاة, and then واصبر على ما أصابك. Be patient on what's going to happen to you. Why, if I establish the prayers and I give zakah and amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar, why would I have to be patient? Because if you do that, something will happen to you and you have to be patient. If you are in the line of da'wah, then be prepared to be tested by hardships. If you're going in ease totally, without any hardships from the creation, then there's something wrong. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. طيب. We go now back to the Ar-Rahman علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. Really briefly, we are running out of time. About الجاهلون, so let me get that. I'll take less than 1 minute to tell you this. الخليل بن أحمد الفراهيدي, هذا واضح علم العروض في اللغة. He is the one who established the balancing of the Arabic poetry. He was one time in his home, and the way he used to balance the poetry, he would sort of say the line of poetry in the well of water. And you know there's a reflection, right? Comes and he listens. فَمُسْتَفْعِلٌ فَاعِلٌ في البصير. For example, he goes and he listens to it, and he, okay, balanced. This is how he used to balance it with the well of water. His son comes in, the Farahidi. He comes in, he sees his father in the well of water, مُسْتَفْعِلٌ فَاعِلٌ. It has no meanings, and he's going, and okay. He runs to his mother, his son, young man. He says, my father has lost his mind. He's gone crazy. So Al-Farahidi realizes, he calls him, he says, come here. And he tells him these two lines. He says, لو كنت تعلم ما أقول عذرتني ولو كنت تعلم ما تقول عذرتك. If you understand what I am saying, you would have excused me, you would have understood. And if you know what's coming out of your own mouth, I would have excused you. لكن جهلت مقالتي فعذلتني يعني فلمتني وَعَلِمْتُ بِأَنَّكَ جَاهِلٌ فَعَذَرْتُكَ. But you are ignorant in what I'm doing, therefore you blamed me. And I know that you are ignorant, therefore I excused you. So, in the line of da'wah, this is your example. وَإِذَا خَطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. Running then towards the end of the ayah, خَلَقَ الْإِنسان, he created the human being, عَلَّمَهُ الْبَيَانِ, taught him bayan expression. طيب اللام الألف واللام, the linguists say ألف واللام الإنسان إما للجنس أو للعهد. يعني either you say خلق الإنسان means Allah created the human beings and taught them how to express themselves. Because again, if you want to be a da'iyah to Allah, you have to be able to express yourselves, right? To learn. And not necessarily an expression here, not necessarily by al-bayan, not necessarily by nutq, by saying things, uttering things. Because you can express yourself in many things, right? The poet says, وَإِنَّمَا الْكَلَامُ لَفِي الْفُؤَادِ وَإِنَّمَا جُعِلَ اللِّسَانُ عَلَى الْفُؤَادِ دَلِيلًا. The kalam is really in your heart. So you can express it in your tongue or in your hand or in your signals, etc., etc., etc. Now, طيب. عَلَّمَهُ الْبَيَانِ, and this bayan, it's not talking about being eloquent in speech, but talking about the ability to substantiate your evidence. If you want to be a da'iyah to Allah, then you have to be able to substantiate what you're talking about from the Quran and the Sunnah and the intellect. طيب. لا, there's another way of understanding this ayah. خَلَقَ الْإِنسان, he created the human being. Who is this insan? النبي الأعظم صلى الله عليه وسلم. He created النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم and he taught them the bayan. And that's why النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم has the absolute best bayan, because Allah taught him the bayan. And what does that mean? First we start with the Quran. Al-Rahman allama al-Quran. Then we have خلق الإنسان, خلق, he created the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. علمه البيان, he taught them the bayan. What is bayan? The expression. What does that mean? What is the expression of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم according to the terminology of hadith? The Sunnah. So you have the Quran and you have what? You see how the ayah gives you everything you need as a da'iyah? You have the Quran on one hand that you have to follow and learn. Then you have ta'lim of bayan, which is the sunnah of the Nabi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. If you know these two things, then you will be among those who are successful. Wait a minute, why I'm saying that? Because Al-Quran says, وَلِلَّهِ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ. You have to do Hajj. But An-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam shows you how to do Hajj. He says, خُذُوا عَنِّي مَنَاسِكَكُمْ. Follow me in your manasik. You will know how to do Hajj. Al-Quran orders you to do Hajj. And An-Nabi in his Sunnah explains to you how to do Hajj. Al-Quran says, أَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ. Establish the prayers. And Al-Habib Al-A'zam sallallahu alayhi wa says what? صَلُّوا كَمَا رَأَيْتُمُونِي أُصَلِّي. Pray as you have seen me praying. Notice? So therefore Al-Quran and Sunnah are inseparable. One complements the other. One explains the other. Denying one, meaning denying the other. Right. And the last thing I'll say before we finish, inshallah ta'ala, is something about al-ilm. Of course, talab al-ilm, and you are all students of knowledge, alhamdulillah, this is a blessing, an honor for me to be speaking amongst you. I should be sitting and you should be speaking, in fact. But talab al-ilm is an honor. Is the line of messengers, is the line of prophets. And al-ilm يقتضي العمل. That means you have to work. لا خير بعلم بلا عمل. If you have knowledge but you don't work, what's the difference? Notice the ayah. عباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما. At night, the ayah mentions, they stay doing sujood and tahajjud and qiyam to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the application of the knowledge. Otherwise, the knowledge is what? Theory? Words that you repeat? Parrots? Nah. The knowledge must be accompanied and must be confirmed by the application of this knowledge. Otherwise, we'll go into and this is a big topic, we don't want to go into it, where people say and they don't. Therefore, Allah bless you for coming to these courses and courses like this. May Allah bless the scholars who are putting their time to teach us all. But this knowledge requires that you work. تقتضي العمل. You have to have amal. Otherwise, then you are doing yourself a great in favor. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I went over a few minutes over my time, I apologize. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us all tawfiq, to learn Al-Quran and to learn the bayan of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And to follow to follow his footsteps on a way that is moderate and open, on a way that we can be carriers of mercy and love to people. Because Islam came to give people mercy, not to take mercy away from the hearts of people. Islam came to give people happiness, not to take their happiness. Islam, again, I say that everywhere, Islam affirms every human being, the dignity and the worth they are, because Ar-Rahman created everyone. So let's become the messengers of mercy. Let's become the messengers of love. That's why you see in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, even your smile in the face of your brother is sadaqah. Let's practice these forgotten sunnahs, so we can be among those who make da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah accept us and accept you and accept your efforts of sitting here for 2 weeks, and accept all of our work and accept us despite our sins and shortcomings, and assemble us together all under the umbrella of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and around the basin, so we can drink from his honorable hands a drink that we would never be thirsty after that. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.